Okay, so I'm back today reviewing another rod, and today I'm going to be talking about the Scott G Series 8-foot 8-inch 4-weight. Now, before I start talking about this rod, I will give the disclaimer that I am on Scott's pro staff, but that has not affected my opinion about this rod at all. In fact, I have been a huge fan of Scott rods long before I had any affiliation with them. And I have, since the first time I fished one, I've been a firm believer that these are the best fly rods you can buy. I've never cast anything better or anything that I like more than a Scott rod. I've got a few of them, and this one is my favorite of all of them. I will start just by talking about the aesthetics of it, which is a big thing to me with a Scott rod. I mean, they're tools, but as any fly rod, but these things are also, every rod that Scott makes is beautiful. So this one's got like the same, I actually don't know what this material is, but it's got some kind of like composite looking, instead of a wood insert in the reel seat, you can see some composite down there. They've got that on several of their rods. It's got high quality cork. It's got a single up locking reel seat. The colors on this rod, they probably won't show up on this, but the wrap colors are beautiful. It's got the classic Scott unsanded blank, the handwritten Scott G Series 8-foot 8-inch 4-line. They're just gorgeous rods. And this one's also got your little markers there to show you like what 12 inches is, what 20 inches is, just for quick fish measurement. I don't know if I've ever measured a fish that way, but they're pretty. They look cool on there. And top to bottom, it's just a gorgeous rod. Now, as far as the actual fishability of it, this is a medium action rod. So if you're not familiar with the G Series rods, they came out with the original G lineup in the 70s. And that was kind of what they were known for at that point, was kind of pioneering the long light line graphite fly rods. So the G Series, as I understand it, had the first graphite 9-foot 4-weight. And they were all, at that time, they were medium action rods. They still are medium action rods, but that's what the G Series lineup is for them. It's always been medium action and lighter freshwater rods. I think it goes up to a 6-weight now. But over the years, they had the original G Series, and then they introduced the G2 in the 2000s, and now they're on the G Series. I think the original was just called the G. This one's the G Series, and this is the third iteration of it. And with each one, they've just made them lighter and more accurate, giving them better tracking. And this rod is light as a feather, and it is very accurate. It is very smooth. It has really quick recovery speed especially for a medium action rod. Now it's not a fast action, so don't get that confused. It's still a very full flexing rod, but the recovery speed is very quick. So it's not like a fiberglass rod where you stop that rod and it just flops and flops and flops. This thing's got a great recovery speed, which gives it a lot of accuracy. But with that full flex, it is just a blast to cast. It is so much fun, and it's not, to me, like fiberglass rods. They're fun, but it's a little, if I want to get serious about catching a fish, it's a little too much flex to me. I kind of am thinking a little bit more about the rod and less about the fishing, but this rod is just an extension of my body when I'm casting it. I don't have to think about it. That fly just goes where I want it to. And it just feels so good. I can sit here and say that 1,000 times, and it'll never resonate until you go fish one of these rods. But they are incredible with something true to line weight. I think these rods really shine with something that's either true to line weight or maybe half a line size heavy. The rig I fish on this a lot is I fish a Scientific Anglers Infinity Taper, textured, which is half a line size heavy. I fish a 12-foot leader on it, and I use this rod mostly for dry flies. I have thrown some pretty heavy nymph rigs on it, and it handles it just fine. It has no problem doing that. But like, to me, it's just this, I fish this rod because it's such a joy to fish, and dry flies are a joy to fish, and especially with this thing. So when I go out and I just want to enjoy myself for the day, if I just want to relax and have, to me, what is the most enjoyable fishing, I'm grabbing this rod. I'm going to fish a 12-foot leader, and I'm going to go up to the park, and I'm going to throw dry flies at big fish. And this thing is just excellent for that. It's got a lot of accuracy even at distance. So something that's surprising with this rod is, with it being a medium action rod, you'll get to that medium kind of range, like 30, 35 feet, and you're feeling a lot of flex in the rod, and it feels great, but it feels like it doesn't have a lot left in it. But for some reason, and I find this to be the case with pretty much all Scott rods I've fished, it feels like you're at the point where that rod's giving everything it's got, and you can't really push it any further. And it feels good. It doesn't feel like you're overloading it, but it feels like if I go any further, I'm gonna overload it. And you try it anyways, and you give it that good double haul and really put some power into it, and it just hits another gear, and it's got the backbone to throw it. It really is almost like these rods anticipate that you're going to put that extra power in. So it's incredible what they do. These rods are, I mean, you can really reach out about as far as you'd want to fish a dry fly. You can get it there with this, no problem. And they've got plenty of fighting power. I've landed some pretty big fish on this rod. They're great at protecting light tippet with that medium action. I really just can't say enough great things about these rods. I mean, like I said, I love Scott rods. I've fished the G series. I've fished the Centric, the Sessions, the Sectors. I've cast the Waves. I haven't fished those, but I mean, they're all fantastic rods. And I use some of the other ones more than I use this one. I use my Centric the most, just because a lot of the fishing I do just lends itself to using that. I've got a 6-weight Centric that I use a lot just because I do a lot of light streamer fishing with it, some heavy nymphing with it. But this one, although it's not the one I fish the most, this is my favorite. This is the most enjoyable rod, in my opinion, in all of Scott's lineup to fish. And I'm gonna stop talking because I could just sit here. I'll probably just repeat the same things, but I could sit here and say great things about this rod over and over and over and take up hours of time and still not feel like I said enough. But if you have at all thought about getting one of these rods, get it. You will not be disappointed. And not just the 8-foot 8-inch 4-weight. I've cast the 9-foot 5-weight. That's an awesome rod. I think that's a great rod for anybody fishing, somewhat small to medium sized streams that have good sized fish in them. You're fishing indicator rigs a lot. I don't have one. I don't have a lot of use for that 9-foot 5-weight in that kind of setting, but I will probably get one eventually just because they're so much fun to cast and so much fun to fish. And again, they're just gorgeous rods. So I'm going to stop now and not just keep rambling on. But the Scott G Series rods, incredible. The 8-foot 8-inch 4-weight, I think is just really something special. It's full flexing. There's a lot of feel to the cast, but then when you need that extra bit of power, it's got it and it can handle it. It roll casts great. It can do long, powerful roll cast. You can do a short, just like flick that little loop right off the tip of your rod, kind of roll cast. Yeah, this is just an incredible rod. I would definitely recommend that you get one. So that's all I had to say about this rod. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope it was helpful. Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. Thank you.